Ayo friendos, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have all three of the brand new holiday Hourglass palettes in studio with me. I have, of course, the Heffalump palette, the Lion palette, and the Moth palette. We'll be breaking these down, doing swatches, and I'm going to show you the difference between all three, as well as showing off the new and repeat shades. Okay, friendos, if you like Hourglass, go ahead and hit subscribe. Hourglass is one of the top 5 brands that I cover on my channel, and let's get started. Friendos, just stay tuned. So friendos, first let's take a look at the new packaging. I love how glossy this is, and I absolutely love the illustrations on all three of these. The Tiger palette I feel like was the favorite as far as the artwork for all the palettes. For me though, I think the Butterfly was my absolute favorite. But yes, these are much more shiny than last year. You remember last year they kind of had the matte 10 setting, and they had little glimpses of sparkle that was supposed to be like marbling. Exhibit A. I did really like last year's, but I like these even more. Now let's say when you are online shopping, you really liked the illustration for the elephant, but you really feel like, say the tiger is more of your color story. Well, you can switch out the color stories from palette to palette. They didn't make it so if you don't like this blush shade, then you can switch it for another blush shade, but then keep this one right here. No, you have to do a full color swap, but it is no additional charge to choose a different color story with a different design, and that's only if you want to. I did not make any alterations to mine because I just wanted to make things easy on myself during this demonstration. So friendos, Hourglass did go up on the pricing this year because they just weren't pricey enough. So this year, instead of being their standard $80, they are now $85, and 5% of their profits this year are going to the Non-Human Rights Project. Hence the animals, and these all are illustrated by the artist Katie Scott. So friendos, we'll begin today with the Elephant palette. This is what she looks like inside. The Elephant color story we see featured on 2 beautiful light to medium skin toned models. To be honest, I think this is the one that appeals to me the most. So there are 4 new shades inside this palette. Let's go ahead and do some swatches, and I'll explain each of the shades. The Ambient Lighting Powder, Dim Light Neutral Beige. This is an existing shade. The Ambient Lighting Powder, Soft Light, and this is a Pale Peach. Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Powder. This is new, and this is the Beaming Strobe Light. Then we have the Ambient Bronzing Powder, also new. This is Lustrous Bronze Light. Then we have the Ambient Lighting Blush, also new. This is considered to be an iridescent coral. And lastly, we have Ambient Lighting Blush, Radiant Rose Berry. This is new. Now for Tiger, we have 5 new shades. Now the Tiger is shown on 2 gorgeous models of a darker complexion. I can kind of see why. For me, a lot of these are going to be bronzer, contour, and let's be real, I'll probably end up using a lot of these as blushes because I like heavy blush. Of course, we're going to swatch them and repeat what we just did with the Elephant palette. So friendos, for this one, we have 5 new shades. So unless I say that it's an existing shade, just assume that it is new. The Ambient Lighting Powder in Transcendent Light, which is Warm Sienna. The Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Powder, which is a Brilliant Glow Strobe Light and is considered to be a translucent peach highlighter. So we have the Ambient Lighting Blush in Burnish Glow. This is a Warm Coral. Then the Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Powder. This is a Divine Strobe Light in True Gold. Then we have the Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Powder in Copper Flash Strobe Light, which is a Copper Shine. And finally, the Ambient Lighting Blush in Iridescent Rose, which is a Warm Medium Rose. And lastly, guys, we have the Butterfly palette. Here's the color story. She's very gorgeous. I think out of all the color stories, this one's my favorite. Unfortunately, there are only 3 new shades in this one. We see some beautiful models of a paler complexion using the Butterfly palette. I can kind of see why the shades in here do look a little soft. However, I do think that this is going to work for a variety of skin tones. It's just how you utilize them might be different from skin tone to skin tone. And that's going to be true probably for every palette. So let's get to it. So starting off, we have the Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal Light, which is considered to be cool translucent. The Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder in Incandescent Light, which is considered to be an opalescent pearl. We have the Ambient Lighting Blush in Soft Flush Deep Mauve. This one is new. The Ambient Lighting Powder Diffuse Light Warm Pale Yellow. We also have the Ambient Lighting Blush in Sunset Glow, which is a terracotta, also new. And lastly, we have the Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Powder, again new, and this is considered to be Golden Champagne. So you guys have seen the swatches. Let's try this out on my face just so you guys can get an idea of how it looks in a true application. So I know a lot of you girls in my skin tone range are probably curious to see if the Tiger will work for you. I'm going to pull a few of the shades from there just to see how it goes. So we'll start out with this Iridescent Rose Blush. So absolutely, I do feel like this works for my skin tone. I don't think that it's too dark. Then I'm going to use the Metallic Strobe Lighting Powder right next to it. And this right here, I'm going to put a little bit lower. And I'm going to use this as more of a bronzy contour. So yeah, if you guys were curious, can you make the Tiger work for you even if you are medium, light, pale? Yeah, you can. Again, it's all about tweaking the products and making the powders work in different ways. Then from the Elephant palette, from this one I really wanted to try out the Iridescent Coral Blush. So right here. And I'm going to put this along the apple of my cheek. Now this one really has a nice, beautiful glow. And if you've been staying away from Hourglass products because they are radiant, you don't have to worry about them emphasizing pores or texture. They really have a very nice blurring effect. Or if someone is standing 2 feet from you, because hopefully no one is like up in your face unless they're like your man or something, they're not going to see those little imperfections on your face. This really does do a good job of diffusing the light so no one can see any texture. Okay, so now for the other side. Trying to make good use of all of these today. Oh, by the way, guys, my friend Audrey Michelle, who I just collaborated with, she purchased the Elephant palette and she's going to be doing a full in-depth demo on that specific palette on her channel. It should be up sometime tomorrow, so you guys should go check her out. Then from the Butterfly palette, let's check out the Sunset Glow Blush. And that is such a pretty flush of color. This one is definitely less radiant from the one that I just put down. I personally like both finishes, but this one is just a little bit more natural looking. And then up in the corner here, let's try out, this is called Soft Flush, which I think is what I just described the other one as being. This one kind of reminds me of Makeup by Mario, just how the finish looks. It's definitely not radiant. Then just so I can get the radiance from this side to match on this side, I'm going to go in with the finishing powder in Ethereal Light. See if that can get it to match. And this is just a nice setting powder, you guys. If you like something that is softly radiant, it's a very nice setting powder. We're still not really matching the iridescence of over here, so let's try out the Strobe Powder in Incandescent Light right next to it. I think this is going to bring us that bling. Oh yeah. Then here in the bottom, we'll go in with the Metallic Strobe Powder and Celestial Strobe Light. And I'm just going to dust this on the high points of my face as my highlight. I don't have very much room on my cheekbones. I just don't have big cheekbones in period. I kind of have a small face. Gonna go on the top of my nose. I don't like to bring it all the way down on my nose though, because I have a long nose and I don't really want to enunciate that. Gonna put some on my chin and then some on my forehead. Okay, friendos, hopefully you guys can see that pretty glow coming through. We do have a little bit of natural light coming through in my studio today. Let me know what you think. And finally, you guys, for contour, I think I will use from the Tiger palette the #1 Finishing Powder Translucent Light. So for someone of a deep complexion, this probably would have been their setting powder. For me, it's my contour. And this one has a slightly like cooler tone. Most of the other shades are very warm. Okay, friendos, and I think we're finished now. Let me know what you think. I know we're not going to be really matchy-matchy from side to side, but I just wanted you all to see a reasonable amount of products on my face. So friendos, it's time for the in conclusion portion of the video. So my final thoughts for today on the value of the palettes. You know, normally a regular blush from the line is $40. The same is true for their bronzers, although they're probably going up soon too. So to be able to get 6 usable products and 1 convenient palette, to me is a very good value at $85. Do I think you need all of them? No, really you don't. If you guys look, you can't really tell a whole lot of difference from this side of my face to this one. So that should kind of tell you the color stories. You can mix them and match them and make them come out very similar. I feel like out of all the color stories, I feel like the elephant had the most different looking color story. That would leave the tiger and the butterfly being the most similar. For any first time users, if you're wondering, are these shades sparkly? Some of them do have some sparkle, but it's very minimal. And you can really only see it if you are up very, very close and personal to someone. So if you're going to be standing, I would say closer than a foot from someone and you don't want them to see sparkle on your face, I would stay away from the very blingy shades in the palettes. However, most of us makeup lovers, or at least most of my viewers, I doubt you care about that. And then a couple things to consider if you are of lighter complexion like myself. For the butterfly palette, a lot of what you're getting in here, as seen by the swatches, you're getting a lot of what would just be like setting powders or translucent powders. There's not a lot of coloration that's going on in this color story. I definitely wanted to do brush swatches over just swatching it on my hand or doing it with my finger, because realistically this is how it's going to look on your face, is how it looks on the arm, right? And the elephant palette in person, these were slightly visible. Keep in mind, you might be okay with just having 2 setting powders. Ideally, I would just like to have 1 in a palette. So those are some things to consider if you are my skin tone. So friendos, this is going to be a very fun week on my channel. I'm planning to do a video on Saturday of favorites and fails from the Hourglass line. We will be featuring these palettes more individually on my channel in the future as well. I sincerely hope that you have subscribed so you don't miss any of that. If you stayed around to the very end of the video, well, thank you so much for choosing to spend your free time here with me. And if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Again, subscribe if you have not done so already, because if not, we'll both have to live in the sorrow of never knowing what could have been. All right, guys, have a fabulous day. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know which palette was your favorite and if you plan on picking one up. And have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye.